Hi everyone, the last part of the notes that you have to take, you've actually got to sketch some of the polyhedron, and the idea is that you are also, as part of the syllabus, supposed to be able to sketch those using your 5mm grid from the books. So I'm going to go through that process with you. I want you to sketch them as accurately as you possibly can, and I'll give you a few tips that make life a little bit easier for you. So make sure you've got a ruler. There you go, ruler. Make sure you've got a pencil. I've got a pencil, but I may end up, if this is not clear enough, I've got some erasable pens. I might end up using those so that I can make it clear for you to see. Okay, so the first prism that you have to draw is a rectangular prism. So the idea behind drawing rectangular prisms is that you want to have your rectangle that is the main two ends that give it its name, but then you've got to have that consistent distance all the way back. So I've got some tips in terms of using your grid paper in your exercise books to help you to be able to do that and make it look good, because a lot of time the students ask about it and they don't know how to quite do it. So the first thing you're going to do is just simply use your grid lines to draw a rectangle. Now you can decide what size you want your rectangle to be. I'm wondering if that's coming out clearly enough. I think it is. I'm making mine 1.5 centimetres tall, so I'm going up 3 lines, and I've made it 1, 2, 3, 4 centimetres wide. Okay, so then the idea, I'll try and turn on the lamp and see if that helps us or makes it worse. Okay, let's try that way. Alright, so then the idea behind getting that consistency is that I'm going to start at this vertex down the bottom right hand side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to count, and I'm going to go 2 across, so 1, 2 across, and I'm also going to go 1, 2 up and put a point there. So I've gone 2 of your grid lines across, which is 1 centimetre, and 2 of the grid lines up and 1 centimetre, and I'll put a dot there. I'm going to do the same from this vertex here. I'm going to go 2 across, 1, 2, and 2 up, 1, 2, and put a point there. So then, before I go any further, I'm going to connect with my ruler from that first bottom right vertex to where I put the point, and from my top right vertex to where I put the point. Like that. Okay, I'm going to come across to the vertex over here on the top left hand side. Again, from there I'm going to go 1, 2 across, 1, 2 up, and put a point there. So I'm going to connect that one up as well. Okay, now the last vertex is this one here. I go 1, 2 across, 1, 2 up, but I'm not going to connect that up just yet. The reason being that this is actually one of the edges that you can't see, it's inside the shape. So we'll come back to that. So I'm going to now connect up the other edges that you can see, which are going to be this side and the top. Okay, so then for the remaining edges, which are the ones that are hidden, I would have an edge here that would be hidden, across down the bottom at the back here that would be hidden, and down here that would be hidden. So I'm going to join those up, but I'm going to do those with dotted lines. And the last dotted line goes over here. Alright, so So you can see now that you've got a nice rectangular prism in which you've got that consistent distance and therefore a consistent cross section going vertically down that way or coming vertically down this way, or even slices across, because with the rectangular prism the cross section will work in any direction. And I'm just going to very lightly shade that front face there, which you don't have to do, but I am. Okay, your second prism that you had to draw was a pentagonal prism. So for that one, you've got to have 5 sides. Now mine's not going to look exactly the same as the one that we had there, but what I'm going to start with is using as many of the lines as I can. So I'm going to start with, again, I'm going to go 1.5 centimetres across here. And then what I'm going to do to make sure that my pentagon's reasonably okay, what I'm going to do is go a similar distance across and up on each side. So I'm going to come across 2 and up 4, I think. So across from here, 1, 2 and up 1, 2, 3. No, I'll just go 3 up. So I've gone across 2 and up 3. So this way I'm going to come across 2 and up 3. Now I'm not creating a regular pentagon, but I am creating one that you could say is symmetrical. Connect that up. And now I need some sort of point in the middle. Now I've created this so that if I want this to be symmetrical, my top point, if you have a look, is going to be, if I come across from here, I'm going to grab another pencil so I can point them in. I'm going to come across 1, 2, 3. To get the middle, I'm going to have to go in the middle of that there. So I'm going to put a point up here and go in the middle. And again, I've just decided how high up I'm going to go. You can go a bit higher. Okay, so that's my pentagon. That part's not critical, and it doesn't matter if yours is not even symmetrical as long as you've got 5 sides. The critical part is now creating that consistent distance all the way back. So that is where we do the same process where we count the same number of squares across and up. Now each time I've gone 2 across, 2 up, you could do a different number, you've just got to be consistent. So if I go, say if this time if I go, say, let's go 3 across, 1, 2, 3 and up 2. Then from this point across 3, 1, 2, 3 and up 2. And before I start to lose those, I'll join the ones I've put together so far. So this first one started from the bottom vertex on the right hand side. You can probably hear my dishwasher gurgling. And then this next one started from that vertex. I'm going to do the same thing again, across. Now this one I've got to go halves. So I'm going to go to the first halfway mark is 1, across 2 is another halfway mark, across 3, and then I'm going up 2, 1, 2. Okay, join that one up. Okay, and this one again, so each time I went across 1, 2, 3 and up 2, so from this one 1, 2, 3 up 1, oh, and it's just there. So I'm going to see that because it's just on the outside. If you've got a slightly different pentagon, you might find that yours goes to the inside, in which case you're going to go with the dotted lines, because if it's going to the inside of the pentagon, it's one of those ones you're not going to see. Okay, so the last step then is we connect up this side, and that one's going to be hard, but we can do it. That side there. Alright, am I missing any? Yeah, I'm missing the one that comes across the bottom here and then connects up to there. So if you think about it, I came from this bottom right hand corner, I came across 1, 2, 3. So from this bottom right hand corner at the back, I'm going to come across 1, 2, 3. That then means that I can do a dotted line to connect to those, a dotted line to connect across here, And we've got to be careful with this. This one's going to come up to that point there. There's a dotted line again. Okay. So if you wanted to, you could even shade one of the sides that you think is going to look a bit more shadowed. But sometimes it's a good idea to shade one of the actual faces to give its name. So this one here has a pentagon on this end. It's got a pentagon on the other end, and it's got the consistent cross-section, a uniform cross-section all the way through. And you'll notice that all the other sides are rectangles. So this is a pentagonal prism because it has rectangular sides. This one has rectangles on either end. So this is a rectangular, rectangles for all the other sides, rectangular prism. Okay, going to quickly then get you into your pyramids. So the first one we're going to do is the square pyramid. Now for your square pyramid, even though your base is a square, so if you have a look here, this base on here is a rectangle, but it looks like a parallelogram. So to see in those 3 dimensions, you've got to draw things like a parallelogram, even if they're a square base. So I'm going to have a square base here. I'm going to go, I'll come across 1, 2, 3, 4. But to make it into a square, I'm now going to come across, say, 1, 2, 3 and up 1, and therefore from here 1, 2, 3 and up 1. But you'll notice the back is going to be the same length as this 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my square base that I'm pretending. It looks like, as I said, well, it looks like a rhombus or a parallelogram, but it's actually a square looking at it from a different angle. So I need to really mark that those sides are all equal, and technically I've got a right angle in there to show that it's a square, not just a rhombus. Now we talked about right pyramids, and for right pyramids the vertex or the apex has to be directly above the center. So if you think about it, if you imagined 2 diagonal lines, the center's about there, we've got to come directly up from there. Now it doesn't matter how high you go, it depends how high you want your pyramid to be, but you need to make sure that you draw a point that's coming up from the center. You then join each of your vertices at the base to the vertex at the top or the apex, and if it looks like it's going to be a line that you wouldn't see, you'll dot it. If it looks like a line that you will see, you make it solid. So my line in the back here I wouldn't see, I'm making that dotted. Okay, so you would do a similar thing for your triangular pyramid as well. You'll start with a triangular base. I'm going to just really quickly sketch this. So if I had some sort of triangular base, imagine where the center is, come vertically up from that and then connect your sides together. But again, use a ruler each time. My challenge to you is I want you to make your initials into prisms. So I've got mine as Ms. V for Ms. Vickery. Love you guys to have a go at making your initials into prisms and see how you go, and maybe post them for your teachers to have a look at. Thanks everybody. You've got some questions to answer from your textbook other than having a go at this, and making sure you've got those notes down from the PDF that's been uploaded. Thank you. Bye.